Welcome to Duke's United Show, and it's that derby week ahead on Sunday. We are joined by a special guest today, Kevin Parker, who is the Supporters Club Secretary at Manchester City. And it's nice to see you again, Kevin. How are you doing?
It's nice to see you, Nathan. You're smiling a little. You're always smiling, but you're smiling a little bit more than normal for some reason at the moment. Maybe it's that. Maybe it's that wonderful award that 10 Bobbers got for winning 2 games and becoming manager of the month for September. So let's hope the manager of the month curse happens.
Oh my gosh, we do not need none of that. But look, coming from you, you're in position to be able to say whatever you want at the minute. You guys are pretty strong, looking good, but I'm still confident. I'm confident of this Sunday. That's if Rashford and Martial play. I'm even more confident. Now, if they don't, I believe it will go a different way, but we'll get into that a bit later. But we already got the comments coming in. King Eric already in there. Good to see you back. He says, Martinez will eat Haaland for dinner, and he's a United supporter. What are you doing, mate? What are you doing, King? King Eric, what are you playing at? But he's still saying, come on, United. And then you've got Red Lion saying, yummy, yummy in the butcher's tummy. He knows. He knows. He knows. So let's get straight into it because, as you know, the presser happens on a Friday. And we've got the Manchester City reaction to Pep. And I've got the reaction to Ten Hag. So, obviously, I know you've just come back from holiday as well. So not had too much time to look into everything. But I'm sure you got a bit of news for us on this pressure reaction. What you got for us, Kev?
Well, listen, I think Pep's been quite complimentary. I think today about United and the return to form. He was certainly complimentary about Martinez, wasn't he? You know, there's sometimes it does make you laugh when you listen to some of these press conferences. You know, the way that they throw the questions in. You know, they think automatically because Martinez is apparently meant to be so small and Haaland so tall that that's going to be the end of the battle. If only football were as simple as that, to be honest with you, you know.
Only if it was boxing, innit? If it was boxing, then you can say, yeah, he's so small and he's so big. But this is football.
But listen, we've got pretty much a full squad to play with. John Stones, unfortunately, got injured on international duty. He's out this weekend. Yeah. He might be ready for Champions League midweek, apparently. That's a little bit of a blow, although, to be fair, recently, John's not been playing right back anyhow, not been playing centre-half anyhow.
Yeah.
He's been playing right back because Kyle Walker's been injured. The good news is that Kyle is back fit again. He proved his fitness on international duty. So it's disappointing not to have the full squad available. But Laporte is fit again as well, so...
Actually, 1 in, 1 out, innit? It doesn't matter for you guys.
It's not the worst of situations in not being available.
Especially got Walker back. He's unbelievable. He's the guy who recovers for everyone. So, you know, he's the main guy I would want in my side at the back for, to be fair. And so having him back is going to make you guys much better. He was the difference between you guys beating Real Madrid in the semis. Was it semis, wasn't it? So,
I think the difference with Carlo, I mean, the way United are playing... United are playing a little bit on the break at the moment, aren't they? Yeah. You know, that seems to be the... I don't think in the long term that's the way that Ten Hag is going to play his football at United, to be honest with you. But he's playing to their current strengths. And United have caught us out like that in the past, to be fair.
Yes,
but one of the benefits we have is that... one of the benefits we have is that Carl is so fast that, you know, that he'll be that last line of defence, and there's very, very few people can beat Kyle Walker in a race for the ball.
Yeah, but you know what? You know the good thing is now United, they've got 3 very fast players up top, so he can't handle all 3. He's going to be able to handle the 1, and obviously we know how good he is at that. Now I'm very, very excited because you've got Anthony. You stop Anthony, you've got Rashford open. You stop him, you've got Sancho, you've got Martial. You've got so many options now up there. It feels like you guys, with your wealth of options up front, where, you know, Mahrez, top scorer last year, this year he's on the bench. Like, what's going on? Like, and he hasn't even got injured. He hasn't lost a form. It's like, yeah, you just sit on the bench for a while. that's what you guys can afford to do because you've got so much wealth of talent up front. It's ridiculous. We're starting to get that kind of dangerousness on all sides of the field. And that's what I'm more excited about because over the past years, it's been one player, maybe two. Now it's like all three. Plus you've got some ammunition behind you, giving them, supplying them. So supply. So yeah, it's
those players could be. Those players could be very dangerous. You're right, actually. They could be very, very dangerous if you manage to get hold of the ball.
You're right. That's one thing we're not ready yet at doing, to be fair, because that's Ten Hag's way of playing, but he realizes we don't have that in our game yet, and we have to work towards that. So you guys are probably about 30 steps ahead of us at the moment in that regard. But, I think you'll probably go down the route of counter-attack where it makes sense. We have to be compact. We have to be tight. And we do not want to try and be losing that ball in the final third against you guys. We need to just sit back and then try and attack with those three. I think that's the way we're going to get some joy. If we are going to get joy, that's the only way I can see us get joy. We're not going to outplay you, that's for sure. So, yeah, it's a dangerous one. But what about, did you hear what he was talking about with the Haaland situation? Obviously, he's on fire, scoring goals for fun. And he basically mentioned that he's got his injury issues are out of the way now. Whereas last year he was at Dortmund, getting injured quite a lot, didn't play many games. And now he's playing every single game. And he's played in the last 2 international games. I'm sure you got something to say on that, haven't you?
Well, I think one of the, not worries so much, there was a lot of speculation, wasn't there, that when we signed him, that as great a player as he is, and he's proved to be absolutely better than even we thought, that he did have this injury worry. Certainly last year at Dortmund, his injury record wasn't great, but it seems to be that City have appointed a member of their fitness team purely to work with Haaland. He's the one. And actually, I think Haaland is one of those players who needs to play every week. Pep very rarely does that with the player, does he? Rotates them quite a lot. He has talked in the past about, Phil Foden could play every day of the week because he's young and fit, but he still doesn't do that with Phil. But Pep seems to have changed his mindset a little bit with Haaland in that he is playing him, every game. He's starting him every game. He's lasting 90 minutes in a lot of those. He's taking him off in a couple of them to give him a break. He scored that hat-trick against Notts Forest in Nottingham Forest in 45 minutes and didn't finish the full game. That's not a surprise. So it's great that, City have decided the best way to deal with Haaland is for him to have his own specialist fitness coach. You can't do that with all 25 players in the squad, of course. But to do it with Haaland, it seems to be the exception to the rule, and it's proved to be a success.
Yeah, well, especially when you don't have to do much for, pretty much 90% of the game, and then all of a sudden come alive and score a goal or score 4, maybe, whatever he feels like.
One of the advantages as well, of course, is that Haaland won't be playing in the World Cup because Norway are not playing in the World Cup. So once the international break comes for the World Cup, Haaland's got all that time to rest. Other players are going to be travelling to Qatar, playing games in the heat, and whereas he's going to be able to chill out. And of course, he'll be having his own, he'll still have to keep himself fit, but I'm sure he'll be doing his own little bit, of catching a little bit of sun, perhaps in Marbella or somewhere. He'll probably think his fitness coach will probably be delighted. His fitness coach will probably be travelling around the world with him.
Yeah, he'll probably have 30 goals by then anyway. So I wouldn't put it past him, to be fair. But anyway, we had Ten Hag presser that come on afterwards. And, let me see what's happened there. Yeah, the Ten Hag pressure reaction. I don't know what's that doing down there. Let's get that right. A second. Yeah, so with some good news for us anyway. I'm quite happy that we've got the news of a few players coming back. And the news of a few players out as well. So how can we stop Haaland?
I was going to say the good news about Maguire being injured.
Yeah.
That's bad news for us.
Well, it's not good news because he wasn't playing anyway. So it didn't make a difference. But one thing he did say was Rashford returns to training. He says Martial he said there's some doubts on some players, but then he said Martial is very, he might be a doubt, but he's played all week and they've been really happy with him. So I was a bit confused there whether he's ready. He's played a week and he's pulled up with something, or he's resting maybe, or he's just played and then he's talking about someone else. I'm not sure. Maguire got injured. He said Maguire's injured. And then they did talk about Maguire. He said they asked him about Maguire and how he's been playing and stuff. And Ten Hag said he has to back him. But he goes, he's not just backing because he has to back him. It's because he believes in him. His preseason was good. He trained well. The quality is there. That's what he says. He said he's got high potential and he believes he can do it and he can turn around the situation. Now,
to be fair, I think Maguire struggles to turn around.
Exactly. So I think he has to say that. And it's good that he backs him and gives him that full backing to be able to have as much confidence as possible to go in and train. And then when he does come on the field, at least he can, know that he's got the manager's backing. And that's all you need. For me, when I was playing, all I wanted was my manager backing me. Yeah. I didn't care what anyone else said. The only opinion that really counts is the manager's. End of the day, if he's going to play well when he comes in, fine. But I just want to see him play well when he comes in. For me, I don't believe he's good enough. But look, I ain't into bashing any players. I'm just here to talk about the football side of things. And I'm happy that we have Martinez and Varane in there because we're looking very, very strong. They look like a proper unit. And we look like we can mix it with the other boys now, and not like just lose games easily. And I feel like he was a major reason for that. But look, it's not about Maguire anymore. We talked about him many, many times. But the good thing is Martial is fit. That brings another dimension to our game. And it brings out other players. I don't know if you've seen it as well, Kevin. It brings out Rashford and his ability to play at link-up football and be more dangerous than just like, you look at him and you think he's only good in behind and he don't really offer anything, holding up the ball, winning anything. But when he plays with Martial, there's this extra kind of link-up. There's this extra kind of ability that comes out. And I love it. I absolutely love it. And I want to see them both playing up front together. I know that will mean Sancho might have to drop out. But whoever drops out, if Martial is fit, we are a different kettle of fish and we'll be very, very dangerous come Sunday. What do you think?
Some players just get that, don't they? Sometimes you, maybe not even intentionally, some players just have that understanding between themselves that they click. And when it's right, I do think that Rashford this season has looked back to the old Rashford that was at United probably 2 years ago. Now there was a period of time that some United fans that I know were actually saying, you know what, if Martial wants to go, let him go. He doesn't quite seem to be interested, but he's got that old passion back. But of course, as you well know, the one thing that he's scoring goals, and that gives you all the confidence in the. He's been picked. He's been picked in his best position, and he's scoring goals. And that gives you a load of confidence, and if you've got your mojo back, so to speak. So 100%. Hopefully he's not fit for Sunday.
I hope you're. I'm happy to hear that you hope that he's not fit because I know you realise the danger he does pose. So that's good to know. But I think like we were talking about Martial before. I was kind of going through the case for Martial, and I was talking about the fact that he was injured. At the time when I felt, come on, Martial, what is wrong with you? Why are you not working? It's because he was playing injured. He explained that before that the manager wanted him to play, even though he's injured and couldn't run. But he did it. He did it for the team, but obviously it backfired. And that's when we don't know what's actually going on. And he does, and it looks like, man, you're not trying. So for me, I give him a fly for that. We looked through his stats, and he's really been very consistent. When you look at the games he's actually played and the goals and goal contributions he's had for us, has been absolutely great, considering we've been in such a bad transitional phase for so many years. He's one of the consistent ones. We look right through it. We're very deep into the details there. So, I'm happy that he's fit anyway. And long may he just come back and just please do not get injured again. That's all I want to see. So, here we got Flossie saying stop De Bruyne and we stop Ronaldo. I don't get that one.
I'm not sure what that means.
If you explain that, Flossie, let us know and we'll read the next one out. Don't you mean Haaland? Yes, I think he meant Haaland. That's what he means.
Oh, yeah.
De Bruyne, we stop Haaland. Thank you. Okay, I understand. Barry Saunders says 3-0 United. That's very wishful thinking away from home with no goals against. I'm not sure anyone's going to have a clean sheet this game. But let's quickly get through the rest of the game plan. So Ten Hag said we have a game plan and we need to execute it. Derby rival game, this is a rival. It's important for the fans, and he knows he's very excited, and they're going to do everything to win that game. He knows how much it means to Manchester. Whether you're blue or red, it means a lot to be able to have the bragging rights until the next game. So preparing for Haaland, they said, how are you going to prepare for Haaland? He said, look, we're playing against Man City, not Haaland. So think about ourselves and the team in and out of possession and do the right things. We have a game plan and that needs to be executed. So the reality is we know how dangerous he is, but he's not the only player on the field. And there's many, many players that can hurt us. So you've got to be ready for everyone. You stick on one player, you know what's going to happen. Someone else is going to get a hat-trick. So that's not nice. And then he talks about the mental health side of things. And he says the players have people to work with at the clubs. And it comes with the territory of the football club as well. So, that's basically, it was a good interview, to be fair. We took a lot out of it. And hey, what do you think of any of that? Any comments on any of that, what's been said?
Well, I think, listen, I think the thing you have to give Ten Hag is a little bit of time, of course. Okay, I mean, he pretty much started the job at United at the end of last season, but the reality is, as soon as the season finished, the United players disappeared and went off on wherever they were going to go. It takes a while, I think, to get to know the individual personalities of the players. Yeah. And maybe that's the point he's making about about allowing that each individual player needs to be treated in a different way. Some coaches don't get that, I don't think, do they? I think some coaches think that you can just bully them all in the same way, that you can just shout at them all and do the hairdryer thing, whatever you want to call it, or give them all a bit of loving. I think some players probably thrive off the hairdryer. Some players need an arm around the shoulder. Some players probably suffer from stress from the idea of having to play in front of 70,000 people at Old Trafford when they're playing at home. So maybe these days, I think the science of football is better.
Yeah.
And if you can improve that with any footballer, no matter which club that he's no matter which club that they play for, if you understand the mentality side of individual footballers, that's going to make them better. That's going to make them better individually, and collectively, the team themselves are going to get better. So maybe, over a period of time, Ten Hag might have been able to look at United from afar and look at certain players like Fernandes or Rashford or whoever it might be and think, well, they're not bad players, or, he's perhaps not as good as I would like him to be. But then now that he's getting to know them personally and to know their strengths and weaknesses, I think that will bring out the better coach in him, I think.
Yeah, definitely. For me, like I'm just saying, like for me, when I was playing, I would rather an arm around me. And that's what I remember Ian Holloway did with me. He made sure I felt the love from him. When I went to Paul Jewell at Wigan, same thing. And then it kind of changed after that. It's like things were a bit different. So, and maybe that was the difference between me playing well and not playing as well. You never know. But, I always felt that, arm around your shoulder, arm around whatever, it gets me to another level. Other people, you're right. Some people do take a shout, but it depends who it comes from, because when you're on a pitch, you have to have that shouting at you to make sure you're on your game, make sure you're doing the right things, and you're alert to things. So it all depends where it's coming from. But definitely, Sir Alex Ferguson, he was one that was known to be a right man manager. So he knew exactly how to treat each player. Yeah. And the stories that you're hearing from Evra and the Cantona situations and stuff like that. Everyone was dealt with a little bit differently because everyone is different. So yeah, can't put everyone in the same boat. But big up to Jasper Lewis, who's a new subscriber, and Japanese Boy says United winning. So we've got a few people Obviously, of course, they are United show, so they were going to be expecting us to win. But we're going to get straight into the predicted lineups. So, Kevin, let us know who you would like to see starting this Sunday against us, considering what we're going to be doing and what we've done in the last few games.
Okay. I don't think Pep will pick his team based on what United are doing anyhow. But no, that's not a negative. I don't think he picks any team based on the opposition, really. You know, Pep's philosophy is keep the ball. If we keep the ball, the opposition can't score, can they? But it will be Ederson in nets. Walker, as we mentioned earlier, is back. He'll be right back.
Yeah.
Cancelo, who's a wonderful, wonderful footballer, will play.
What an assist to Haaland the other day, right outside the foot. Oh my goodness!
When I was at the game and I thought to myself, how's he finished that? How's he managed to put that ball in the net? But then when you see it back, to see the quality of the ball, I mean, he's a fantastic. He will start at left back, but that won't particularly be his role.
Yeah.
Of course, he'll be all over the place.
Who's the centre backs? Who you got of centre backs?
Diaz and Akanji. Akanji has been absolutely a rock since he came in. Again, he's another one. Pep signed him, at the death almost, and doesn't stop playing him now. He's played.
Yeah.
He's played when Diaz hasn't played. He's played when Stones hasn't played. So
great addition, lastminute.com. You didn't even know about it. I didn't even realize he came in until my friend. I was playing FIFA, my friend, and he had him in his team. I was like, "What's the Kanji doing there?" Oh, you guys bought him, did you? Okay.
I mean, 15 million is a steal, isn't it? To be honest with you.
For us
then, of course, in midfield, De Bruyne, Bernardo Silva, Rodri. They're three givens, aren't they?
Okay. No Gundogan. No. Okay.
No, I don't think so. I don't think. Listen. I don't think he'll start with Gundogan on Sunday. I can't see that. And then I would imagine it'll probably be Foden, Haaland, and then probably Mahrez. Although there seems to be a lot of talk from the supporters about Alvarez getting a chance. Because when he's come on or he's played, he's looked very sharp. He's very competitive. He's willing to have a go, which supporters like, don't they? But I think he'll play Mahrez. I think he'll start Mahrez. He's not started Mahrez very much recently.
No, he hasn't.
I think he'll start Mahrez. So that would be my team, I think.
So Grealish doesn't start, of course. Gundogan sits on the bench. Alvarez on the bench. All these great players on the bench, unbelievable. But yeah, okay, that's a quite strong side, and they're going out there not caring about what we're doing.
I don't think you can afford. Listen, I don't think you can afford to worry about the opposition. That doesn't mean that you don't disrespect them.
Yeah,
of course. You've got to be wary of them. But we won't set up to try and
stop
counteract what United want to do. Pep will set up to try and influence the game in the way that he wants it influencing. If United set up in a way that takes control of the game, then of course Pep will probably change it, but he certainly won't start worrying about the lineup that United have got. But you have to be wary of them because they're suddenly a team in form. So you do have to be wary of them now.
Well, I had the team up here, but now that I listened to Ten Hag's presser, I have a feeling Rashford or Martial and Rashford will be involved in this game. I feel Rashford will start, but I feel Martial won't.
I don't think he'd start both of them. I don't.
Yeah, they're just both not been fit for too long now. I know one of them's trained for most of the week, but look, I've got my team. But before that, Jules says my brother's a City fan. We must win, so you can have obviously bragging rights in his house. Shall I take Haaland out of my FPL team? I don't think so. Anyone who takes him out of his team, they're going to be behind whoever else it is because they've got them in their team. He's in my team, that's for sure. Right, so my starting lineup, I believe De Gea will start in goal. Malacia left back, who's been absolutely on fire. We know you can't break up that Martinez and Varane partnership. I'm very happy they've come back from international duty, still fit, are ready to go, especially Varane. And Dalot, who's been revelation this year, absolutely playing the way Jose Mourinho, what he saw of him, what he was saying when he first came, we're finally starting to see that from him, because that wasn't there at all, anywhere. We could see that there was a bit of, positiveness, that a bit of potential there, and then all of a sudden he just was never producing. But I feel like it was to do with the side and the tactics and not having tactics when we had Ollie. I guess that might be it. And now it's just looking a whole different play. He's fresh off the back of 2 goals for Portugal as well. He is on a high right now, and he's playing very, very well. He's one of our best players this season so far as well. So that back four shouldn't change. I'm going with Casemiro because I have a feeling he wants to go with a team that can play on the ball more. I think he needs to go with that now. He's had a few weeks. We've not had a game. Casemiro's got more adjusted to the side, surely, in training. They're all going to know what's what. I know it'd be unfair to take McTominay out because I feel he's played very well and he deserves to play. But eventually, I'm sure Ten Hag's going to want to see Casemiro in this side. And against Man City of all teams, that's the highest of the highest teams we're going to play. So if there's any game where we need to be as close to them in possession, I think he's going to want to play his best team that can keep the ball. That's why I'm going with Casemiro this game. I wouldn't be surprised if McTominay plays and Casemiro plays. I wouldn't. But here's my team. Casemiro sitting, Eriksen and Bruno are going to be just in front. And I'm going with Antony because of his nice hard work from the right side and because of obviously his goal threat. Rashford comes straight back in up front, which I thought it was going to be Ronaldo. And Sancho, I think, is going to start on the left. So that's going to be my team. Very, very dangerous on the attack. But we just have to make sure out of possession, we're very compact. That's all I got to say. We've got to sit back in 2 banks of 4. I think that's what he does. And he puts 1 in front. Similar to what Pep does, to be fair. I've looked at, I think it was Statman Dave. He was going through how Pep and Ten Hag actually differ. And they don't really differ in too many things because he used to coach underneath him as well. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting because we'll see who changes what and who kind of are they going to try and play exactly the same against each other and then see who comes out on top. I wouldn't suggest it, to be fair. Stretford Sean says McTominay to start. I'm afraid, very afraid. And Stretford Sean says big mistake taking out McTominay. Look, I think I would actually, you know what? It's so hard, this one. I don't know, but I don't know what you think, Kev, because we know Casemiro is coming. He's come from Real Madrid. He's a top player, won everything. And he's come here and he's behind McTominay, and it's the biggest game of the season, really. Do you keep him on the bench because McTominay is playing so well?
I think he plays Casemiro, and one of the reasons being that, of course, he played for Real Madrid in those 2 semi-finals against City. He knows the way that City. I know McTominay does as well, of course, but his experience, I think, will count as far as Ten Hag is concerned. So I think he probably will play Casemiro on Sunday. Yeah.
Okay. So we're on to the match predictions now. The predicted result. What are you telling me that you believe is the score and who scores in this kind of game? I know it's a tough one.
It is a tough one. I don't like predicting scores, as you probably well remember. But if I'm pushed, I'd probably go 3-1 to City, of course. And if Rashford plays, I would put him down to score the United goal.
Okay.
For City, let's have a think about it. Kevin De Bruyne recently has been on fire against United. I think he got 2 last season when we played them at the Etihad. So let's see. De Bruyne, Haaland, Foden. That'll do, won't it?
Oh my gosh. De Bruyne, Haaland, Foden. Let me put this in. De Bruyne, Haaland, and Foden. That's not a bad. You know what? That is realistic. It's not like it's not realistic. It can happen, but I don't see it happening. Well, yeah, I can see it happening. But I don't know why I'm saying that, but I've got my team. I'm not going to go with losing here. I'm going with You want to know what I'm going with? I can't find it. Where is it? Where's it gone? I'm predicting a 2-2.
You know, I knew you were going to say that. I knew you were going to say 2-2. You know, I think you probably think they might edge it 3-2. United. I think
If
somewhere
Martial
along the
comes
line.
on, well,
But
here's the thing:
I
if
can
Martial
see.
comes involved, I think we could.
I could see you going for 2-2, but I can sort of see that you think you might snatch this game.
4-2 United. Come on, green and gold until sold. Love it, lad. Oh my gosh. Yeah, to be fair, look, it's one of them things where now that Martial and Rashford are involved, I think we have firepower to hurt you. I know you guys have firepower to hurt us, but I really do think we can get at you now. Whereas before, it was harder to get at you guys, and you guys were just scoring for fun. Now it's like both teams should be able to score, and obviously score for fun. So yeah, I believe that we have the ability to do it, but we must score first. Must score first. That's the main part of this whole thing. If we don't score first, it's going to be an uphill struggle. We know what it's like, especially at City's ground. It's going to be very, very difficult. Stop Haaland, we win. I don't know about that. You've got to stop a lot more players than just Haaland, to be fair. So, yeah, it's okay. You got 3-1. That's not bad. And we've got the scorers here. So I will bring it up. I will bring it up at the end if you do get it right. And I'll add you to the points, which we got a little system, a point system here. In me and Garth, we've got a little a game we're going with, guessing the correct score, guessing the correct scorers as well. But look, you know, it's Sunday. It's coming soon, thick and fast. Many, many games this month coming up. It's going to be absolutely ridiculous, the amount of players who are going to be involved in the next, 8 games or so. And I just can't wait to see what happens at the end of it. How many players will still be fit? How many points everyone will have? It's going to be crazy, isn't it?
It's going to be crazy.
I've never seen anything like it. A game every 3 days? Bloody hell. I don't know. But look, make sure, let me just go to make sure you join us for the reaction, which will be at, I think it'll be an hour and a half after the game. The game's at 2. So the match reaction, I cannot even find it anymore. Join us for the match reaction at 5:30. I know the game's at 2, so it'll be 4 o'clock usually that we do it. But we're like moving it forward at 4:30. Sorry, guys. It's at 4:30. Don't just forget what I said. 4:30. Kevin, thanks for coming on the show. It's been absolutely amazing. It's always great to have a chat with you and hear what you got to think about City. You know, we are rivals, but I do like what you guys are doing. But obviously, we do need to beat you today. And I do have you guys winning the league, but I don't have you winning Sunday. And if anything, it's a draw or a win for us. And until the next time, we'll be winning at Old Trafford as well.
It's always great to catch up with you. I hope, if only for 10 minutes, that we wipe the smile off your face on Sunday. But you're such a smiley person. Even if you lose, you'll still find something to smile about. I know that, Nathan. Listen, take care of yourself. Have a great Saturday and a lousy Sunday.
Thanks, Kev. And everybody, thanks in the comments for putting in your comments. And see you guys after the game, 4:30. Peace.